So, what is Pragmata? Pragmata is a new sci-fi shooter with a pretty interesting twist created and published by Capcom. If I'm being completely honest, I had zero interest in this game up until I actually played it. I'd seen some of the trailers and thought it was fine, but nothing really hooked me. That being said though, I saw some pretty positive reviews being posted on YouTube by people I followed, and I figured that since I do share similar interests with them, I'd enjoy it too. I am happy to say that I really like the game. A lot. The story is really entertaining, nothing groundbreaking, but well written enough to really tug at your emotions. The gameplay though is where it really stands out, being one of the only shooters I'd actually play on a controller. I'll explain more of that later. The game runs extremely smoothly on my laptop, which is where I'm actually recording this review from. After seeing how well it runs even on the Switch, since my friend is playing on it there, I'm convinced that the RE engine is actually magic. Well, as long as they don't try to make an open world game with it, I guess, considering Dragon's Dogma 2 and Monster Hunter Wilds. The game itself isn't actually super long, but there's a lot of post-story stuff you can do, and I think that this kind of length, like with RE2's pretty short runtime, is actually a strong point rather than a weak one. While the gameplay and story are entertaining, I think it's good to finish up before the gameplay feels stale, and just have the rest of it be optional so that it doesn't overstay its welcome. The difficulty options available are Casual, Standard, and Lunatic. My first playthrough was on Standard, as Lunatic is only unlocked after you finish the game once. As always, I'm keeping the footage in the early parts of the game so that there are no major spoilers. For this game specifically, I'll be using footage from a new save on Lunatic difficulty since I wanted to actually try that difficulty, and you get the ability to unlock most of the gear from the start at a cost. Let's start on the story and presentation of the game. The story starts off with Hugh and his crew landing on the moon to fix an issue that they were called in to fix. After entering the facility, however, everyone else on his crew gets killed and Hugh is left injured and unconscious. Diana finds Hugh and patches him up, and they work together to try to get Hugh back to Earth. The story overall is actually really cute, with the main focus for the most part being the two of them working together and growing attached to each other. It's a pretty predictable story, but I think that for what it tries to be, it's fine. I really enjoyed the dynamic of the two characters, and I had a lot of fun while I was here. Hugh is the main character that we play as, and is basically Spacedad. From the start, we find out that Hugh doesn't quite like kids, and he doesn't quite like robots. This is actually a key factor from the start because he doesn't quite trust Diana. But we actually see him make an effort to be nice and good to her. Over the course of the story and in ambient dialogue, Hugh drops a lot of tidbits of personal history in the conversations he has with Diana, and I really enjoyed how they did it because the way he opens up more and more over time really feels natural. I also appreciate that he doesn't just get over his team's death immediately, and does actually talk about them a decent amount. Our other leading character is
Diana!
Jokes aside, Diana is a Pragmata. She is a robotic child that has a lot of control over the tech in the facility, and her hacking is a key part in what keeps Hugh alive as they fight. Honestly, she's a really funny and cute character. She draws crayon pictures for you once you get crayons for her. It's super heartwarming. And when she hacks things, she chants in binary, and it actually made me snort laugh the first time I heard it. Oh, can't even forget about her taking a bite of the hard drive. Can I just say though that I think that Diana is actually really well crafted. I know from other games that people tend to be pretty polarized when it comes to young characters like her. Either they're only cute without much of the childishness and people love them, or they get annoyed at how childish and useless that they are, and how much they get in the way. I think Capcom kind of struck a good balance with Diana, where she's actually childish and naive, but provides a lot of gameplay use and has a lot of cute scenes, so she's endeared to other players. There's a lot of cute and heartwarming scenes between Hugh and Diana, and it just makes me happy. Capcom knew what they were going for, and I definitely enjoyed it a lot. Visually, I think Pragmata is a really pretty game. The style is quite sci-fi, while being quite realistic with a lot of twists. Initially, I thought we'd be stuck in the moon labs the entire time, but the story managed to actually figure out why the areas would be visually varied and worked it out quite well. There are multiple costumes for both main characters to play around as well too if you'd like to customize. I stuck with the basic one just for the most part, but it is nice to have options if you want to change it up a bit. On the enemy side though, I actually think it's quite interesting. I'm not a big fan of the style they were going for, but for what it's meant to be, it does look really good. Enemy telegraphing is also pretty good, visually and audibly. It does happen sometimes where you get caught off guard by an off-screen enemy though, but Diana will actually like shout at you to avoid an attack if it's coming from off-screen, which is really helpful. On the gameplay end, the game is really good. You will be playing as Hugh for the entire game, and his controls are generally great. You have access to 4 gun types at any point in the game. Main guns have unlimited ammo, but will be your last line of defense, as their damage is not actually top of the line. The rest of the gun types have limited ammo, but are much more powerful and you can find them out in the field. Red guns tend to do strong damage, green guns tend to help you manage large groups, and blue guns help you manage different enemy mechanics or supplement your strategy. Initially, you can only have 1 of each gun type, but once you get past a certain point, you can have 2 of each special gun, leading to massive flexibility in how you can approach any situation. The other half that you control is Diana. Diana rides on Hugh's back during combat and hacks enemies that you face in order to open their weak spots so that Hugh can actually damage them. While your initial hack is free and unlimited, there are special hacks that work similarly to the special guns and are limited. Utilizing these can really force the fight in your favor. This varies from boosting your hack damage so they basically just explode, turning all bots against each other so that you can just pick them off slowly, or even boosting the shooting damage you do. Different combinations can really help in different situations, so it's really nice to play around with. The combination of both Hugh and Diana really leads into gameplay that is very engaging and fun, with a large amount of flexibility depending on your preference. I have to note here though, that I actually played this game on controller. Now, that might sound normal to most people, but anyone who's been around me for a while will know that I genuinely despise shooting games on controller. However, the combination of hacking and shooting, as well as the fact that you don't need to hit a small weak spot consistently, makes it feel good to play on a controller. Also, I actually did plan to try to play on mouse and keyboard, but I saw the hacking controls and was like, this is too much for my brain, so I just said no. Moving on. Enemy design from a gameplay side was really good. There's a good amount of variety in enemy designs and types, with upgraded versions having much more fluid and aggressive AI. I will say, with the enemy density there is by later points in the game, it does feel like AoE hacking should be a default thing, or at least the damage that you could do without hacking should be more noticeable. The bosses in this game were also really interesting and cool as well. Each featured unique mechanics, and I just like them in general because, as I mentioned before, they telegraph their attacks really well, and are visually and audibly interesting. Once you finish the game, you actually get access to a bit of post-story content. If you return to any of the old areas, you'll be able to actually face upgraded versions of every boss. You can also refight these upgraded bosses, which is fantastic because it just lets you grind out currency to max out stuff, and you don't have to just go kill some rando mob 100 times. There's also a set of simulation challenges that you can tackle after the story as well. These are generally high difficulty challenges that really test your knowledge and skill, with rewards such as costumes and new weapons as your reward. The only part I didn't like about this final set of challenges is that you have to 100% the loot on the maps, which was unfortunately really annoying as someone who doesn't like to collect things the first time around. So, I think I've made my thoughts pretty clear over the course of this review. I really like Pragmata, and I'll easily suggest this game to most people. It's got a pretty strong set of mechanics, with a story that does resonate, though it doesn't push any boundaries and is relatively predictable. For a player who likes complex moment-to-moment gameplay, this game is actually crazy good. For a story-focused player, I think that as long as you keep in mind that it's relatively predictable, then it should be enjoyable time. If you're in the middle like me, I can easily recommend it. I hope that this video has helped you decide if you wanted to try the game out. Please let me know if there's anything you want me to add or adjust in the video format going forward. It helps me actually improve these videos quite a lot. Anyways, thanks for watching and goodbye!
If you enjoyed this video, please consider dropping me a like and subscribing to me for more content like this. Comments are also appreciated since I always enjoy open dialogue and I'm open to having my opinions changed. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.